Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here in the train station waiting for my daughter. Hey, Minister Destiny. Good afternoon. Thank you for jumping on. I'm here in the train station waiting for my daughter. And good evening. And just having a conversation with my brother where he told me this story and a lesson that he learned, a story of his life and a lesson that he learned. And the lesson sort of synonymous with a lesson that I've been learning recently. And that is the importance of record keeping. You know, the importance of record keeping of your testimony, of your experiences with God. You should record them in whatever means are available to you. Because that's the work of God. That's the work of God inside of you. And the work of God is important enough to record. You know, you think of some of those characters, biblical characters, Jeremiah, Peter, Paul, you know, they all wrote their epistles. They all wrote their books, their history, their personal testimony, their story. They all wrote it. The only one that didn't write his history was Jesus Christ. And the reason for that is that his history was written before the foundation of the world. But it was recorded in minute detail, in prophecy. And so, it is important for a practicing child of God to understand what's going on with the spiritual journeys, the spiritual experiences, what they're learning spiritually, to know what's going on enough to value it. Because in recording something, you gain wisdom from it. When you record something, you gain wisdom from it, because you could interact with it over and over again. And so I record a lot. I have this sort of this passion for recording my thoughts and recording my experiences, you know, what's going on with me, almost on a moment-to-moment basis, because, you know, it's like the Spirit is so active in my life, in my day, that I have a lot of interest in recording a lot of things that happen to me through the day. And so my brother's story, we were talking about it. He told me the story. And then I said, what did you learn by it? And then he said, what I learned by it is to keep a record, to make a record as you work, to record your work on a very regular basis. Record your progress, record your experiences, record your thoughts, record your understandings, record every nuance of your experience as a child of God, because it's going on record. It's like God is keeping a record of it, right? Everything that happens to you, God keeps a record of it. So it's also important that you keep a record of it, because what I find is this: the work that I'm doing, I record, I do videos, and then I watch those videos over and over and over and over and over and over again. until I learn what I have to learn. I'm sorry, I'm here, and that's what's here. So that's pretty amazing. So, still waiting for my daughter. So, in God dealing with me in this way. Oh yeah, thank you for jumping on. I learned that. Oh, thank you. I learned in this process. I learned that the Father has a passion for recording things, for record keeping. The Father, our Father, the maker of heaven and earth, He has this passion for recording things. I learned from someone that angels have nations of angels that do a certain thing. For example, there are nations of angels that do nothing but keep records. I think that those are called scribal angels. They do nothing but keep records. That's what their race does. Nothing but keep record. I was telling George, my brother, I was telling him, God knows every single one of the hairs on your head. God knows exactly how many hair follicles you got on your head. I told him, He knows the name of every single star. They're all special to Him. He keeps records of the falling leaves. He keeps records of everything in superb. Yes, let it be recorded in heaven and earth. That's a wonderful statement. Because in Egypt, it's like, let it be written, so it will be written, so it shall be. So when it is written, when it's recorded somewhere in our Father's creation, something happens. And I can tell you that by my using recordings to study the work that I'm doing, I'm gaining a lot of understanding. I record something, and then I'll cut it down to its essence. And the essence normally is just a few seconds, maybe, say 30 seconds or so. And then I'll watch that over and over and over and over again. I'll put earphones on, and I'll fall asleep listening to it. And I learn so much. There is great value in keeping record. It's like keeping a diary or something. There's great value in doing that, because you can then study your life. You can look back on the record of your work. And that's my daughter. She just texted me. She'll be here in 5 minutes. So by keeping a record of your work in the Spirit, of your experience in the Spirit, of your testimony in the Spirit, by keeping a record of that, you gain a lot of wisdom. You gain a lot of understanding. You gain a lot of knowledge by studying, by recording, and then studying your testimony. It's like the last testimony that you had. Did you record it? If you recorded it, how many times have you watched it? How many times have you heard it? The technology is there where you can hear your testimony in your ears 100 times a day, in your words. That is recording your experiences with God. And then as you look back on them, you see something new about how God did this, or how God did whatever your testimony is. You learn something deeper, better, more meaningful about God, about yourself, about the nature of spirit, about the work of spirit. You learn a lot by looking back on your testimony and studying it. You see a lot of God's characteristics very clearly in your own testimony. You know, there's power in your testimony. Power. There's a scripture that talks about they overcame by the power of their testimony. You know, I explained to my brother that not recording your testimony is like walking through a garden and picking up seeds of different fruits and then putting it in your breast pocket, and then being so careless that you bend over and you lose the seeds that would have produced great. Oh, that's it. Thank you. You lose the seeds that would have produced great fruit, but you lost it because you didn't secure it. You didn't secure your seeds. Your testimony is your seeds. You didn't secure your seeds. You should have secured your seeds by recording your testimony and then studying it for all it's worth, because that's when God manifested himself in your life. That's very important. When God manifested himself and delivered, you're responsible for your harvest. Thank you, minister. Of course you are. By the work that you put into your field, you're responsible for your harvest. You know, your heart is your field. Your mind is your field. Your life is your field. You know, learn from it. Learn from it. Work it. Work it. I think my daughter's here. So, Minister, I'm going to thank you for your participation in this broadcast. I'm going to call it to an end. So God bless you. See you next time.